Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey guys, welcome back for episode 17 of AI for Interior Designers. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek. So this week, I really wanted to talk about a program that I have been using consistently for the past, I'll say like 3 or 4 months. I'm not exactly sure when I started using it, but until about 3 weeks ago, I was not fully using the potential of what this is. And honestly, I'm probably still not. I know I'm still not, because there's so many different use cases for this. And what I'm going to tell you today is not just for interior designers. It is for literally anybody that does virtual meetings. Okay. So if you have a husband, a spouse that you're like, hey, you are always working from home and on virtual meetings, Zoom, Hangouts, whatever that might be, this is for everybody. Okay. So what this is it's basically a note taker and screen recorder for all of your virtual meetings. All right. So the one that I use is called Fathom, and Fathom is spelled FATHOM.video is the website. I will also link this in show notes, so you can just click on it. But this is the one that I ended up using after testing out a few different options. There's Otter AI is another very popular one that I know people like to work with. I just like, when it comes to all other software, I found that this just worked best for me, the Fathom option. Though I did try these other ones, this one just kind of integrated with all of my meetings. So that's why I chose this. There's another one that people like called, honestly, I've never said this out loud, so I don't know exactly how it's like pronounced when you say it, but it's TL:/DV.io is the other one. I did try that free version as I was testing this Fathom recorder, and it's probably because it was free, but it just never recorded any of my notes from my meetings. It would like go and be there and then like pull out and be like, okay, sorry, we couldn't record. I was like, well, that's not reliable. So again, it's probably just because it was free. If I was paying for it, I'm sure it would have been different. But Fathom just was the winner for me with what I needed it to do. And it's pretty cool. So let me kind of tell you what it does and give you an overview. So Fathom you can invite it to whatever you're recording in. Okay. So if you are joining a Zoom call, like if you've been invited to one, it can show up and just take notes for you. And if you are hosting your own Zoom, you can connect it to your Zoom account, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. And then there's also like Zapier connections. So, and I say Zapier, I've heard way other different pronunciations of that. So I don't know exactly how to say it, but I'm going to keep rolling with that. I pronounce everything wrong, I'm sure, because I say it in my head and I'm just a terrible speller and reader, to be totally honest with you. That's why everything's video for me. But anyway, so I think that's how you spell it or say it. And Zapier will basically connect to numerous things for you. So you can send your notes maybe to Slack if that's what you want to do afterwards, if you've got a team. Same with Google Teams, things like that. You can just like one click, move everything right over there after the meeting is done. So let me give you a use case to kind of set the scene. So I do one-on-one sessions. I've done this since, I want to say 2019 is when I started mentoring interior designers that are looking to move virtually and do e-design. So I have always done my one-on-one sessions in Zoom, and I've always recorded them. I've always taken like notes, typically not like on paper, unless if it's something that I, wanted to say and I was kind of waiting. And then it was like, just say it during the meeting. But then I would have like a separate Google Doc that was just notes from the meeting with action steps. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I love meeting. I love doing the one-on-ones. I it's like one of my favorite parts of my business to help other designers and other entrepreneurs like set up their business in the online space or learn AI and just like watch the light bulb go off when we're talking for an hour and then send them the notes and do all that. But the only downfall is that I don't like the after work that goes with it. Because I hang up and then like it has to download and then I have to wait for it. And then I got to come back and then I got to send it to everybody, that might have been on the meeting with notes and with action items, right? Um, so that's fine, but like by the time I'm done, by the time it downloads, I have two kids. Like they're typically probably here, or I have another meeting or a project. I'm just doing something else, right? So I don't want to come back, write that email, have all this stuff. There's no like cookie cutter, there's no template for when I follow up with a client because no client's ever the same, whether it's a design client or a one-on-one mentorship. And everything's new, right? So like I want to put the time into the reply to get all the information that we talked about. Now, this eliminates that step that was like for me like the hardest part, we'll say, which was not even hard, but it was like, getting back to it and completing it. So that is now like so easy to do, like send people notes. I literally with Fathom can send them the recording, so the video, it's recording that video and it's like compiling this like little portal for that session. All right, so yes, it's recording in Zoom, which is always taking up so much recording space. Like I need to get in there and just clean that thing out. But my Fathom note taker is also recording the session. So technically, I don't even need any of these Zoom recordings that I'm putting on my Zoom cloud. But it is recording that and it's taking very detailed notes of everything that we talked about automatically. All right. So if I link this up the correct way to my Zoom calendar and to other calendars, anytime, and this is for my events and also events that I am invited to, it will join me in the call when I join the call, and it will take those notes for me and compile them and then like almost immediately send me an email that it's complete. Now, if you've ever recorded with Zoom, the longer it is, the longer it takes, and it can take a bit to get your recordings back to you. And then you got to process and all that stuff. So I know Zoom has AI. I have not explored that extension yet just because Fathom works for me. So like I was saying, if a program works for you and it's checking all the boxes for what you need, there's no reason to look at other programs. And this kind of goes for all software because I know, at least in this industry, a lot of interior designers love to look for the new shiny thing. This is going to solve my problems. This has all the things that I need. Nothing has everything that you need. So if something is working for you, utilize what's working for you. And then, when it doesn't anymore, then explore something else. But for me, Fathom had everything that I needed. So there was no need to look at Zoom AI or any of these other options because as of right now, it's pretty cool. So okay, so I use this, getting back to that, for the one-on-one calls with designers, businesses, things like that. I also do these for one-on-one calls with my clients because I design virtually and remotely for the most part. I meet with my clients over Zoom, and that's just how we communicate. So when I can set up automatically, remember, because like you book it, and then I actually just started using Motion AI like calendar, which I will do like another thing about because it has really cool AI integrations, and you can send booking links. So I'm trying to get rid of Calendly and like consolidate my subscriptions because Calendly, if I don't need to pay for that. If Motion, the calendar, is already doing this, and I can eliminate my fees. Anyway, so it is automated from the time that they get on my calendar. They automatically get that Zoom link to our session via a calendar invite. And they select their time, right, through Motion. Now, Motion has assigned that Zoom link. So I show up that day for my client meeting or one-on-one meeting, and I just sign in and it joins the conversation, and then it records, and then it takes notes. And then after Within just like 5 minutes, typically, I get the recording in my email saying, okay, it's processed and it's done. And then I can go over there, and what I can do with that recording, that's where this is probably one of the coolest things that I've used in, recent, we'll say year. I feel like I say that every episode because but in this respect, this is one of the coolest things I've used in the past year. All right. So if I were to, for instance, meet with a client, maybe this is our first time we've ever chatted. Last week, I met with somebody, and she had a 1-hour consultation, and she literally just shows me around her house, and she sent me some information before, but then I have this recording. So I send it over to her with all the notes and any action items for the design collab, and she can watch everything. Cause she was sitting there and she was taking notes. I was like, oh, don't even worry about it. I got you. I'll just send you this later, and you will have the recording and all the notes that go with it. So no problem there. So it's not just for me, it's for the other people too, that they can see the notes. So, for instance, if it is a new client, and that new client, I need to then do a proposal after we meet, maybe it's a discovery call and I'm just kind of getting acclimated, then what I can do, and I'm going to bring one up. I don't really want to share the video just because it is private information with this client, but I will tell you what I did. Okay. So in this session, we talked about a remodel project. She lives in Brooklyn. And so this would be a remodel project, and all the specifications we went over, and we went over her design aesthetic. I didn't write down a single note for this entire session. So what I got in return were all of the notes and some things that I didn't even hear on the conversation for some reason. Maybe my mic cut out, or maybe I was doing, I don't know, research, because I was researching at the same time and I just didn't hear her say it. So this caught that and all of the notes. So in a previous session, previous podcast, I talked about how you can convert your proposal over to, how you can convert your transcript recording over to a proposal using ChatGPT and then Canva. But for this, before I even get to that, I could use this information to write that proposal, to make sure that I'm on the same page with all the client needs. And then I could basically copy the transcript from here and then use that in ChatGPT to create a beautiful looking presentation and proposal and pricing and all of the details. And that's exactly what I did for this client. So because these notes that were just automatically taken with the note taker were listed in multiple different summary formats, and also as a transcript, which is gold for AI. If you aren't aware of that, they're not looking at videos, they're listening to videos right now. Okay. So right now, if you can upload a transcript to any video, then you can work with the transcript to extract blog posts or Q&As, FAQs, whatever that might be. It's working with the transcript. So this program enables you to just download the transcript in multiple different formats or copy and paste the transcript. The other thing that it does is it gives you actionable steps. So it uses AI to listen to that transcript inside the program and see what the next steps are for the other person once you get off the session. And then it lists all those in the right-hand side. And then the best part is that you just copy the link to this. It actually will even write a copy follow-up email. It's just one sentence where it's hey, here's a recording from our session. And then it'll link the session, or you can just grab the link and put it in your follow-up email. So previously, when I would do client consultations, when I would do one-on-one sessions, I was doing multiple things, right? I had to go download the recording, put the recording from Zoom into another, I would put it in a Google Drive folder. And with that Google Drive recording, I would also have the notes in a Google Doc. And then I would send that link over to the client. It was tedious. It was still time consuming. Or, you could also grab it from Zoom on the cloud and then send it over. But then it's okay, well, you have to, download this within a certain amount of days because I'm going to clean out my storage, and then they still have to download it. So this way it is all here in one link, in one location, where you have the recording, all of the notes, the action steps, and you can file your notes in different ways. So there's different formats. And that's what I'm getting at for the multiple use cases of this program. So I gave you an example of how I might do it with my one-on-ones. It's kind of the same thing as how I would do like a discovery call or client, design client one-on-one, where I would send them the link, they get all the notes, and then I have action steps before we meet again. Here's what we're going to do next. And it just auto generates, or I could change that out. But let's say you are maybe doing demos of something, like you want to create a demo of your process if you're a designer, or if you are, I don't know, I mean, maybe you have some kind of a software that you do, or you, I don't know. It could literally any demo, okay? Any demo. So what you can do is go to the demo setting, and I'm doing this actually like simultaneously on my other screen. So you go to the demo summary option, and from there you just say, okay, generate this. And so right now it just generated it. So I get a overview section for this demo summary. So overview, and it just kind of talks about like, high level, what was it? The benefits of, hiring me for this situation, my process. So I did explain like how I work and how that all happens. And then it recapped it in 3 sentences. And then blockers and concerns. So potential. So like I brought up some structural issues that we need to talk to the contractor about if we were adding or not adding, but if we were to relocate some walls or whatever. And then Q&A. So like what comes next? And then I have a list right below that. And, do you think renderings would be helpful? Like just some things that I added in this, like during the live session, it recapped those specific Q&A questions and their answers at the bottom of this summary. So yes, it's a demo, but also like you could just flip through all of these different organizational summaries and see what one works best for you. Sometimes I'll click through like 4 or 5 different formats, and then I will extract information from each of them to rewrite something different. Or you can just take the same. It doesn't really matter, whatever works best for you. Now, the other thing that I really love about this is when it gives you the summary right below it in all of these little like paragraphs. So for instance, in this process paragraph where I explain what my process is, if I hover over the answer reply in the summary, then it actually will go, it will go directly, if you just heard that, I don't know, maybe you did. It will go directly to that part of the video so that it can reference that really quickly. That alone, guys, like think about the different use cases for that feature, okay? So yes, your client can be reading these notes. They can look at the summary. They can like see the summary and then click right back and like remember, and see what we talked about. But what if you are marketing your company and you need to create like little short snippets of content to put on social media? This is how you can do that and know where like the best parts are. So there are many other programs that can do this. So if you're not using those, this might be another situation. I'm currently using Munch is the one that I use for basically taking longer videos, chopping it up to hot topic areas. Like, if it has keywords in what I'm saying, it will find 1 minute or less clips, and then it will add text and branding to those clips. I haven't been sharing these a lot on my Instagram, but I haven't been sharing a lot lately because I am behind on them, but I have a ton of these clips. But let's say, for instance, you're not using something like Munch to break up all your clips. What you can do is, click on this paragraph that is recapping. It takes me to that part of the video. Technically, because I don't think this program does it now where you can like snip things out. But technically I could download this video and put it in there's a bajillion video editing softwares out there. I mean, Canva does it too, right? So I could download this. Let's say I throw it in Canva, for instance. I typically use InShot from my phone. And that's how I do my video editing. I've got a computer version too for not InShot, but like a heavier duty video editing, but you don't need that. So what I do is I could take this video down and I would find that timestamp where it was talking about that specific item that was very I don't know, I would think that would make good content to share online. And then I would just snip that little piece. But instead of rewatching the entire video over and over again, like I don't like video editing. There's people out there that that's their thing. Honestly, I should probably hire them, but I wanted to like know all of the things before I outsource for this podcast. So I've been doing it myself, but it's not my favorite. So if this is something that like you need to do, you're not in a position yet where you are able to outsource this mass content creation using your videos, then you might consider this, and you might take that video and find that sound clip, cut it down to a minute or less, put it in a vertical format, and then post it. Like there's so many different ways you can do that. But what this is doing is streamlining to find that part of the conversation that was worth sharing somewhere else. Okay. And to do that, you're going back to your summary of notes, and it's highlighting all of the best things that you talked about during your conversation for however long it is. Okay. So I'm looking at my recordings right now, literally just like every Zoom that I've done, they're in here. So I have, oh my gosh, it's so funny. I've just got so many where I was recording my screen, and then you got all these notes. So honestly, this is content just sitting here that I haven't used yet. So one day when I have enough of me, then I will do that. But here, I want to give you a rundown of the different use cases. Okay. So I teach a fundamentals to rendering class with my Doma for the render visualizer. It's free. I do it once a month. You can go to mydomastudio.com/Jenna if you want to see what my upcoming events are for that. But I recorded this. So technically, I was a guest in this Zoom recording for the fundamentals of rendering because I did not use my primary Zoom account. I used my Doma account. But it still showed up because everything that's on my calendar with a Zoom meeting, it will be there. And it's automatic. I don't even need to invite it, which is the best part. Especially for those of us that like forget to hit record on our computer every time. So this is nice because it's just recording because it just shows up. So I did this fundamentals training, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way that we could snip out little pieces of this and use it for YouTube videos, or I can do a blog recap or something like that. Yes, absolutely. I can do that. So let me show you what some of the different summary options are going to be. So number one, you have your chronological. So like short summary. And this is just like timestamps. You're going right down with the timestamps. And then we have general, which is apparently the most used. And this is just like any insights, key takeaways. And that one seems to be pretty detailed, honestly, with the general. And then we have a Q&A recap. So if you are trying to like take out things that could help, do an FAQ page or, answer any other frequently asked questions that either your client might have, maybe about your services or a new, or like for this situation, I am teaching rendering. So I have some questions in here where it's like, what files can I import into the visualizer? And it answers it based off of everything that I kind of said throughout. It compiles all of that into one paragraph versus me having to search the entire hour-long training and be like, okay, well, she said this and then she said that like 20 minutes later. It is all in one spot now. So that's a Q&A format where like you just take the questions either that you ask and then answer yourself, or if there's any questions from the people that are attending. Okay, and then we have a sales version. So you can unpack your prospects' needs, challenges, and buying journey. So if you are in sales department, like there are 3 different options in here. So sales methodology by winning by design. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's a whole different way to capture sales data from these calls. So if, for instance, maybe you have a team and there's other people doing onboarding, or you're doing virtual collaboration sessions, maybe you've got junior designers, maybe you've got a whole marketing team, like, or just somebody that like books your calls with a discovery call. This is so helpful for them. So maybe if it's not you, it's helping them to get sales information, get onboarding information, and then you can improve that customer service, right? So potentially what you could do after you get this whole sales report, copy the transcript, put it into ChatGPT and say, hopefully you primed it so it knows about your business. But then you could be like, okay, here's all the sales notes from this. Here's all the questions, concerns, and maybe areas of improvement from this recorded session. Now ask it specific questions in ChatGPT using the transcript that you just pulled from this. So after you do that, the use cases are just like insane. Like you could literally just take this transcript, go to ChatGPT with all these different formats, and then specifically like hone in on the type of content that you want to use this information for and redistribute it in different ways. So I don't know if you know this, I'm sure you probably do, but at this point in time in 2024, repurposing content and being seen across as many platforms as you can repurpose the same content for is where it's at right now. Gone are the days that you can just go on Instagram and create a little following and then have a successful business. Now it's still a rat race on social media for that organic traffic, not the paid stuff. So if you can do a video where you do have the ability to reshare things, or you just don't show clients or any information like that, maybe it's just you answering something, but it's from a client experience or a Zoom call or a meeting or whatever that might be, you can now repurpose that content that you've already created so much more efficiently. Okay, the possibilities here are just endless. Going back to that, like if you're doing interviews for a new client, or not a new client, well, it could work for a new client, but if you're doing interviews for a new employee, there is a candidate interview recap on here. So that would be a good one. There's stand up on here. So if you do like meetings with employees, you could do that type of thing. This one is capture processes to start, stop, and continue. So that's interesting. If you were doing potentially like a recording of, again, a demo, that could be an interesting use case. Project kickoff. So if you are starting that first client project where you're meeting virtually, you get the vision, target, and resources. That's what's in that recap. One-on-one, so updates, priorities, support signals, and discussion. Project update, this is a good one. So project update, breakdown of each task, status, discussion, and next step. So maybe this is internal. Maybe this is with your client and you're just like every Friday, here's the recap for it. Honestly, guys, like you don't even need to be in a meeting with somebody else to use this feature. So what does that mean? If you wanted to, for instance, shoot that client update, and maybe you have an assistant, or maybe you're doing this every Friday on your team, and that's just what you do. Maybe what you could do is just open Zoom, Fathom will come in, right? And then you just start screen sharing, go through everything that you need to talk about, and then you can send that to the client. So instead of doing a Zoom or a Loom and recording what you want to say, now you can do this and then just send a link with the recording, and all of the notes and next steps are already in there. So just like the ideas are flowing the more I talk about this, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like everybody should be doing this, because I think that if you're not inviting a note taker to every single call, you're just missing information. Like, I know that I was, and I know that taking notes, some people are better than others at taking notes and then listening to whoever's speaking at the same time. So if you could eliminate that and not have to take notes so that you do have undivided attention, this could really help with that. Students, like think about the student use case in all scenarios, virtually or not. Like note taking for that it's obsolete to have a hand in pen and paper, unless if it's something that you really need to know or remember at that time. So anyway, I'm going to put my referral code just because I have it, but I'm not like partnered with this program or anything like that. I just really like the ability to take notes, take a recording, get the actionable steps, and then just send it off. Like, it is so much easier. And then the content creation that comes out of this, just simply by copying a transcript or your notes and then putting it into various other AI programs, ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever that might be. I'm going to leave you with one other interesting use case that I did last night, just while I was messing around. So using the recordings that I have from the fundamentals of rendering training, I don't want these to just sit there, right? Like, they should be repurposed. So what I did, and I'm just kind of like messing around with AI video right now because it's so like fascinating to me, and then it's going to go like so quickly. So I'll have to do another episode on that. But I took my I took my transcript from my fundamentals of rendering training, and then I went to ChatGPT, and this was just like regular ChatGPT. This is not a custom GPT that I built for this situation, but I took that transcript and then I put it in ChatGPT and I said, I want to create an AI generated video. Using my transcript, come up with a cohesive script and the images for what you see here so that it is a 30-second or less video clip. So it did that. It literally wrote the best transcript based off of like literally my tone from the recording from the transcript. So the way I speak, it like really kind of mimicked that, but more in like an AI tone, so like delve into, those fun things. But with a little bit of like finessing and moving things around, I was able to like rewrite those weird areas. But for the most part, this script came out beautiful. So I took that script last night and I put it into InVideo AI. So InVideo AI. And that is a free, up to a certain amount, generative video. And you have like a lot of characters. I want to say it's like up to 22,000 or something. It's a ton of characters. And so I just copied that really long script and I put it into the video editor, and it created actually a 5-minute video for me. And it's really good. It doesn't use the images, but I can pop them in and use my own video that I have from this recording. But it really talks about all those key topics in a somewhat robotic voice. But it's really cool. So that's just a different use case. There's so many, guys. So like whatever you do in your business, think about like, how can I take this transcript or these notes and then repurpose it to create more content that could potentially serve me by sharing it on social media. So anyway, that is my little plug, even though I'm not a a rep for this at all. I just really like it, and it's something that I wanted to get out there so you guys knew about it. So whether it's Fathom Recorder, or maybe you're going to use Otter, or that other one that I never know how to say it out loud, go Google AI note takers, and there's plenty. I mean, maybe even Zoom's AI is really good. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I will have to though at some point, but this one's working for me, so I don't want to change it up. So anyway, I hope that is helpful for you. I highly recommend you at least look into it so that you can start recording. If you do a lot of Zoom meetings or any kind of meeting, just activate it, see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, okay, you tried it. But I don't see that happening. I think it's really going to be game changing for you. So you can focus on other things in your life and not have to continuously just take notes all day, every day, when you're in these endless meetings that I know some of you have to be on all day. So, all right, that's it for this week and for this episode. I do think pretty soon I have to talk about the video that's coming out, Fast and Furious with AI. So I'll plan to do that fairly soon. Next week, I will actually be in San Diego and then Silicon Valley for ASID AI presentations. So if you are in California, in either of those two chapters, I hope to see you there because there are going to be some live sessions. So hopefully I'll get a podcast episode out for next week. If I don't, I don't. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Like, I do this every week. I try and keep them short and sweet. So this one should probably be around like 35 minutes, but sometimes I just like have to travel and I don't get them recorded before I need to. So it is what it is. I'm just doing my best, and that's all we can all hope for, right? So have a great summer, guys. Hopefully I'll see you next week. But please follow, share with your friends, and thank you for being here. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.